the middle. Can't do it when the screen's not shared. Can't do it. How do you let them all in?
Can't soar like an eagle. Yourself with isn't that the truth? In order to soar like an eagle, you also must release yourself that is weighing you down. You can't soar like an eagle if you're unhealthy. I don't see any obese eagles dominating the sky. Your health is probably the most important part of your life. Certainly one of the most important factors in living a great life. See, having energy for life starts in your physical body. It's much easier to get your mind right when your body is right. Build a strong body and your mind will follow. You can't soar like an eagle with the mindset of a turkey. If you don't believe you can fly, you will never fly. If you don't believe you are capable of soaring to the top of your own mountain peak in life, you will never try and therefore never succeed. If your mind is full of negativity, you will never see the positive. If your mind is full of limitations, it is closed off to opportunities and possibilities that might be right in front of your face. So in order for you to soar like that eagle, you need to get your blinkers on. You must focus. The eagle can focus and lock in on his prey from miles away. You must focus on your goal and lock it in from wherever you are. Eliminate the idea of defeat. Lock in your goal. Determine what it's going to take to get there and take off. Just go. Don't get that goal. Don't stop until you have it in your grasp. Next, you must fill your mind and body with only things that will take you closer to your goal.
Hang on, what's going on?
Surrounded by turkeys, there's time to limit that interaction and get around the dream chasers. Those that want to soar, those that want to lead, those that are prepared to face the storm and thrive despite the storm. If you have weights tied to your legs, if you have things that are weighing you down in life and prevent you from taking off, it's now time to release those shackles. Set yourself free so you can fly. It might not be easy to get those shackles off. It might be painful. It might leave a scar, but you must do what is best for you. You cannot be in prison for your entire life. You were born to fly, to dominate, to make your own decisions, to walk your own path, to do it on your watch. You were born to be in control of your life. You were born to dominate. You must follow your own path.
Who here would love to make 2022 their best year yet? Raise your right hand. Come on. You.
Amazing. And who here is excited? Excited to finally kick off and tick off those bucket list items that have been well overdue. If you're excited about that, raise your left hand. Come on. Yes. Awesome. Thanks.
And who here would love a proven goal-setting framework that would allow them to live their very, very, very best life ever? Raise both hands. Yes, come on. We're going to give you that on this goal-setting framework. My name's Lloyd.
And I'm Alicia, and welcome to the 2022 goal-setting workshop. We are so excited to have you here.
So before we kick off, we'd just love to acknowledge all of you, actually, because we had a lot of people register and you guys showed up. So you're already ahead of the game, all right? You're already way ahead of the game. So give yourselves a little golf clap there, right, like that, for showing up. Well done to you guys. And also a big acknowledgement to all the speakers that are coming and give their piece tonight that we've asked them to do that. So it's great to just get a jump on 2022 because it's only the 4th of Jan. How good's that, right? So before we go on, we'd just love to get a few shout outs and pop them in the chat box if you can. some of the things you're wanting to get out of this goal setting workshop. And it is a workshop, all right? It's going to be interactive. So just pop in the chat box there. Some of the things you want. Vision. Yeah,
love
definitely.
it, Cass. What else? Strategies,
Yep.
Lana, amazing. Clarity, absolutely. Clarity.
Simplicity, clarity. Mindset, direction.
Process.
All right,
mindset. Direction.
Inspiration.
Clarity, yes.
Awesome. You're going to be inspired by the speakers tonight. You're going to be inspired by some of the stories. So who is this your first goal setting workshop, everyone? Who's done one of these before? Like, just nod your head like that if it's the first one. Awesome. Well, before we kick off, would it be okay if we shared our story with you very briefly? Is that okay? Like,
amazing.
who
You're
are
like,
these people?
why are we here? Why should we listen to you? Who are you guys? And so here's a little bit of a brief summary.
So back in 2014, 15, we never used to write our goals down, ever. And we were living kind of like a mediocre life, I would say. We were out of shape. We weren't overly, obese. Like we were out of shape, tired, and we were not inspired. We're just going through the motions. Can everyone kind of relate to that, going through the motions? And so we started off on a personal development journey, and we started our own business. And when we did that, if you've never started your own business before, basically it's a personal development journey with money attached to it, because you can only grow your business to the extent that you grow yourself. So we kicked this off together as a couple. And, as a couple, there's obviously extra challenges that go with building a business together. So I remember back in 2015, we started to think more and have more vision. And when we started off in business, we went to a couple of events. And at one of these events, someone showed us how to set goals. And at that point, I thought it was all full of BS. I thought it was all woo-woo, doesn't mean anything. Like, that's not rational. It makes no sense. What kind of witchcraft and sorcery are these idiots talking about, right? If you've been to a personal development event the first time, you're probably thinking the same thing. And so I was like, well, you know what? What have we got to lose, really? Like, we have nothing to lose and everything to gain, because it doesn't take much effort, really. And what we learned was it took as much effort to, write bigger goals than it did to think small, basically, right? So in 2017, what happened was we went about setting some goals. And we put together for the very first time some measurable goals following a simple framework that someone taught us how to do. These guys that taught us how to do this have made 7 million in profit from their business in the last couple of years. So they're very, very successful financially. And they gave us this framework, nice and simple. And we started following it. We put a vision board together, even though I thought that was a bit crazy and cuckoo as well, you might agree. But again, had nothing to lose, everything to gain. So we did that, and then we put together a why. Like, why are we actually doing this, right? And so I'm going to touch on it. I'm going to show you that exact why in a moment. But what actually happened was we put our goals on the back of our front door. Seems to be a weird place to put goals, especially if you've got guests coming over and they walk out of your house and like, what? Oh, okay. But we called it our magic goals board. And what's really weird is I did a podcast episode the other day with someone, and he said, Lloyd, I'm looking at your Instagram. I went back to 2017. I noticed these goals, this magic goals board you had, and I wanted to ask you, out of the 10 big goals you had, and they were like win a bodybuilding comp. Alicia had win a beauty pageant. We had, go 6 figures in our business, win trips to Fiji. They were big, like they weren't small, play it safe goals. They were big, right? Anyway, we had 10 and we wrote them all down. We even had on there, go on a cruise, right? Because sometimes it's also about having fun goals too, which you'll learn in this workshop. Anyway, so we had it on there, and I remember it was weird. We started bit by bit. Every time we left the house, we would see the goals board. It would create a thought for us. It would then create a feeling, and the feeling would then create an action. So when we left the house, we were like, okay, that's why we're going to work. That's why we're going out there to do this, because of all these reasons. And my sister will tell you, because she got sick of us sending her the magic goals board, but we started ticking them off. And it was so weird, because even with our, like for my bodybuilding comp, it said win the bodybuilding comp. It didn't say compete, it said win. And it didn't say, got to be very careful with your goals, because it said cruise, but it wasn't the cruise ship we wanted to go on, nor the area. So you got to be very specific when it comes to your goals. But he asked me, he said, Lloyd, how many of them did you tick off that year? And I said, you know what? You wouldn't believe it. We ticked off every single one. And quite often what happens if you want to live a big life, a really successful life financially in your relationships, in your family, in adventure, and really sucking the juice out of life, then what you'll find is that if you write things down and you have it up and you see it every day, the chances of that actually happening increases drastically, more than you will know, right? And so at that point in time, we probably created the success we now have. People often say, oh, it's amazing you've become millionaires. It's amazing you've created this $2 million businesses, or this or that, or a great relationship, or whatever it is. It was forged way back then. And what you're only seeing now is the tip of the iceberg, right? So that's why we're setting this workshop for you guys, because the reality is, I would guarantee at least 50% or even maybe 80% of you don't write your goals down. I would have to say, like, I'm fairly certain, because you're probably like us, right? Think it's a bit cuckoo and weird. So we want to challenge you. This is going to be an interactive workshop. There is going to be breakout sessions here for you to go and do stuff, right? So we want to make a couple of agreements.
We do.
Before we continue. So can we all agree, raise your left hand if you all agree to be open and play at 100%. Yeah, be open like an umbrella. Works best when it's open. Yep. Raise your right hand if you agree to play at 100%, which means staying to the end. Right hand.
Ooh, are we going to lose anyone?
We're going to lose.
You watch. We're
going to lose some people, right? 90% of life is showing up and staying to the end. And raise both hands if you agree to have fun, right? If you agree to have fun.
Let's have some fun. Let's not take life too seriously. Let's make 2022 the best year yet. And I've done goal workshops in the past. And truth be told, I've left the workshop and not played at 100%. And then afterwards I said, I wish I actually wrote down my goals and did the activities during the workshop, because I never got round to doing it. So we just challenge you over the next, however long it takes us to get through this content. We have so much value for you tonight, that you do the exercises here, right now, because once we go into real life, things happen, distractions, and we lose focus. So we really want you to have a pen and paper ready. All right. If you don't have one, this is your time. Go and grab it. Grab the notes section of your phone. Jason has his pen and
just holds it up there casually. So I'm sorted. I'm ready.
Awesome. All right. And let's get into action.
All right. We're going to share some stuff with you guys, give you a little framework to help you that's helped us drastically. And then we're going to introduce our speakers, and we're going to do some breakouts so you can get into action. Sound good?
Sound good. Let us know if you're excited in the chat. You're excited to be here.
Feel free to do a dance if you want to.
Excited. Good, Sarah. I love it, Rose.
All
Brandy. That's a test. It's all about playing at 100%. If you're not writing in the chat yet, you're not playing at 100%. All right. Here we go.
So the way to do your goals, it's very simple, actually. You don't have to get too convoluted. And you're going to hear from each of the speakers. So we're not going to go into too much detail right now. They're going to go into more detail for you about each of these areas. But what you probably want to do is set at least 5 goals. I think 5 is a really good number. Any more and you get overwhelmed. There's a really good story, if you want to Google it, called Warren Buffett and his pilot Mike Flint's story. And he says, basically, too many people set way too many goals for the year, and they just end up spreading their butter too thin. So one of the coolest things we've learned over the years is doing the 5 F's to goal setting. So you'd have perhaps one fitness goal, a financial goal, which could also be a business goal. You might have financial and business, which is fine.
Yeah.
A family goal.
You could do family/relationships.
Yep. A fun goal, which is what I was talking about with that cruise and so forth. Because otherwise, what's the point in getting rich if you can't have fun? And a faith goal, right? So whatever your faith is, whatever your spirituality is, some sort of goal around, living a more spiritual life. So if you have 5 of these goals, you're in the realm of living a really, really good life, and it doesn't overwhelm you. What's fascinating is a lot of these actually intersect with each other, which means if you achieve one, you are more likely to achieve the other.
Correct.
If you achieve one, you are more likely to achieve the other. And too many people write a very blasé goal. They say, I'm going to get healthy in 2022. Well, that ain't going to cut it because you can't measure it, right? We're not going to go into SMART goals, but effectively what has to happen is they have to be measurable and achievable, okay? And realistic, all right? And specific. But here's just an example, not to overwhelm you with the theory, but here's a great example. Fitness. I will lose 12 kilos in the next 90 days or sooner.
Very specific. Yep. And there's a time.
Yeah, right. And you can do that on anything like I want to drink more water, I want to get up at 6 a.m. You'll find it challenging to do 6 a.m. for the whole year, So it's sometimes good to say, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. for the next 30 days, or, you know, like, so it's measurable, it's simple to follow, it's not forever. But this one here, too many people set their goals to the end of the year, but a goal of losing 12 kilos can happen in 90 days or less. Don't wait for December 31st to lose your 12 kilos, for goodness sake. Do it in the first, tick these quick ones off. Give yourself some self-esteem by achieving things. Winning is a habit, and you need to start winning. So give yourself some winnable goals like that, right? Financially, a good one might be, I will have at least $15,000 saved in the next 90 days or sooner, okay? Family, I'll spend at least 2 hours per week with my extended family during 2022. If you love your family, if you don't, well, probably not a good goal. But let's see how it's even measurable, right? It has to be measurable. I'll complete a new class, right, to challenge my creativity before December 31st, 2022, okay? I'll read the entire Bible before the 31st of December 2022. That's a big goal. I don't know. That's crazy hard one. But see how they're all measurable. Doesn't matter what you're doing. And if you wrote these down and stuck them on the back of your door, you'd be miles ahead of people that aren't doing it, particularly on the 4th of January. People are still like on holidays. And look at you, legends.
Yeah.
You're out there designing your life. And so if you decide that you put these in place, you're going to start designing how you're going to show up in life, and you'll win in these areas, right? Am I making sense? Pop in the chat if I'm making sense. Winning is a habit. Absolutely, Nikki. It is a habit. Just if you haven't won for a while, you don't know what it's like. So for goodness sake, make 2022 a winning year.
That's it, right? And then, you know, those small wins, you get addicted to it, and then you'll be like, I'll set another goal, and then you win, you know, and then you get addicted to that. And then it goes over and over and over again. Then before you know it, you've achieved your big goal. So it's starting small, and like you said, getting used to that winning feeling.
There was a time when we put become a millionaire, which means $1 million in net worth. So you have $1 million net of debt, right? And we set this goal and was like, I don't know if that's possible. Like, I couldn't rationally figure out how. And I know that Dan Marshall put a cool post on today. He's like, if you can figure out your how, whatever it might be, it's not big enough. And I thought that time we set that goal, it was not possible. But then what happened is the market changed. And just before we knew it, it hit $1 million. It was like, it was out of our control. But if you don't put your goals down, there's no way they're going to come true. There's 100% chance they're not going to come true unless you write them down, I would say, right? Because they don't exist. They become tangible when you write them down, right? And if you live in possibility, you can achieve it. But if you don't write it down, you don't think it's possible, you live in impossibility. And if you live in impossibility, nothing is possible there, right? And then what you want to do is, perhaps if you would like to, you can write a little paragraph and have a why, like why are you wanting to achieve your goals, right? So we wrote this one down. I wrote this one to myself. You can screenshot it. And I wrote it down and I emailed it to myself. And just probably only about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I think 2018 maybe, I picked it up in an email and I realized we'd achieved it. And I started crying. I was like, holy shit, we did this, right? So it doesn't have to be elaborate. Something as to why you're setting the goals, right? And then, of course, and our speaker's going to elaborate on all this stuff. So don't feel like if you're missing things, don't worry, because we're going to go into detail. But we also have a vision board next to our goals. And what's fascinating about vision boards, especially this one, is like, this is so weird. When did we do this vision board?
2017.
2017, we did this. We hit that this year. We won a trip to Bora Bora this year. We're about to win a trip to Cabo this year. We had a dream wedding in Thailand. We had a family catch up just the other day. We've spoken on stage. We become friends with David Wood. We went to that Top Achievers. We went to Bangkok at that bar. And we haven't done that one yet. But like, these have all come true. And some of them only this year. So just remember that your vision will take time, okay? Your goals support your vision, all right? Your vision is the long 5-year goal. 5 years, okay, your vision. What can I achieve in 5 years? Whereas your goals was, what can I achieve in the next 12 months? Make sense? And you can even break it down to 90 days, all right? But the trick is, you got to write your goals down, print them out, put them on the back of your door or in the mirror of your bathroom, and then do your vision board like this and put it next to the goals so that you feel that you're doing it for a reason. Okay, now that's all you have to do. I know it seems ridiculous, but that will help you drastically in 2022 to achieve your goals. All right, make sense? Nice and simple, isn't it? It doesn't have to be crazy wild. Simple is best. Short term, medium term, long term. Yeah, just don't get too complex with it, right? Simple scale, simple works. Okay. All right. So we're going to introduce some speakers to you now, and they're going to give you an extended version of those ins and outs of this framework. All right. So I'm now going to introduce to you a very special woman. She's an author. She is a podcaster. I think she went top 3, 4 podcast in Australia, top 5 podcasts in Australia just not too long ago, about a couple months ago. And she's also retired herself from a 9-to-5 in her 20s. She's a 6-figure earner in an online business. She's a relationship guru, and she has traveled to probably 40, 50 countries, I think. And she's only like in her early 30s, right? And so she is a master at living in her vision. The things she's achieved in her short life she kind of reminds me of Amelia Earhart. She's just this like go-getter. She just does everything, right? So I want to introduce to you my sister-in-law and Alicia's sister, Melissa Fernandez.
Oh, what an intro. Thank you. And hello, everyone. Thanks for being on this call tonight. You've already one step ahead of everyone else being on here tonight. So congratulations. But firstly, I want to know, raise your hand if you are living your ideal life. Not many hands, which I thought might be what I would see, because this is exactly why we're on this call tonight. Raise your other hand if you want to be living your ideal life. Yes, so many of us. Now put your hands on your face like this if you have no idea what your ideal life actually looks like. Yes, I thought that would be the case. I promise you, by the end of this call, this is my promise to you, that you will have a clear idea of where you want to go in 2022, especially learning what your ideal life looks like. Because before I got asked this question, which I'm going to ask you very shortly, I had no idea where I wanted to go. Even the thought of writing goals down or having a vision, it was just gibberish to me. So what I want you to do right now is I want everyone to just close your eyes. Close your eyes, and I can see you. You're all on camera. And I really want you to think about this question. If I was to hand you a magic wand and time and money was no issue, what would you be doing with your life? If I was to hand you a magic wand and time and money was no issue, what would you be doing with your life? What house would you be living in? Who would you be hanging out with? What car would you have? Where in the world would you be? Where is this house in the world that you are in? Do you have a boat? Are you living life on the farm? Do you have pigs and cows and horses? What does your ideal life look like? Okay, open your eyes. When I first got asked this question, and someone said to me, actually my amazing mentor, David Wood, who most of you know, he said, if I was to hand you a magic wand right now and time and money was no issue, what would you be doing with your life? And I never thought to look at it like that. I was like, what would I be doing? And I went, I would be traveling around the world. I would be seeing places I want to go that I've never been before, and not even have to worry about being on a budget, not being one of those backpackers traveling around the world, having to stay in, I can't even think of the name of what they're called, hostels. Staying in hostels. Yes, I did not have to stay in hostels. I actually stayed in amazing 5-star hotels because I got to live that dream life when I traveled. But I was thinking, you know, what would that be like? I'm like, I want to travel around the world. I want to be able to stay in the top luxury hotels. That's what thrives me. I get thrived off luxury hotels, and I get thrived off really good food and eating at fine dining restaurants. And that's what I wanted. So I started to dream, and I started to dream bigger when I got asked this one simple question. If time and money was no issue, what would you be doing with your life? And that's what I really want all of you to think about when we start setting our goals, is to allow ourselves to dream bigger. But I'm going to be talking to you for the next 10 minutes about vision and setting a vision for yourself. Because without a vision, you're going to be distracted by everything. Without a vision, you're going to be distracted by everything. When you don't have a vision and you're not clear on where you want to go, that's where you're going to get interrupted by things and you're going to get pulled off track. Your goals is what's going to help you get to your vision, but your vision is the big theme of where you want to get there. So our goals is basically, the way that I look at it when you set your goals, is breaking it down into those sub goals that's going to lead you into where you want to go. So when I first did I've been doing vision boards now since 2017. I've been doing vision boards. And ever since then, like, I've progressed over time. The first vision board started off with me just scattering pictures on there, and even things that I didn't actually really want. Wasn't really true to those goals. It was things that I was like, oh, that sounds good, so I'm just going to pop it on there, right? I was borrowing other people's goals. I wasn't clear on what I wanted. So let's get clear on where we want to go. And so over time, I progressed. And just like anything, I learned that there are strategies. There are strategies to the way of doing things. And Lloyd and Alicia summed it up perfectly, focusing on the 5 F's. So when I do my vision board, I broke it down into 4 categories. But one thing I didn't do last year is faith. That was not in my area of where I wanted to grow in. But now, moving forward this year, it's something new that I've learned that I want to add in is faith. So that will be my new 5. So I want to show you my vision board and how I break it down. And there's many ways to do this, right? There's many ways to skin a cat. I truly believe like any way would work, as long as you get it down and you do it for you with where you want to go. But sit later when you have time and ask yourself the question and get more clear on it. If time and money was no issue, what would I be doing? What would I be doing with family? What would I be doing with my family? What would I be doing for fun? If time and money was no issue, what would I be doing for fun? Do I want to get my skydiving license? Do I want to travel around the world? Maybe I just want to stay home. Maybe I want a longer holiday to be with my friends and family and kids, right? What would you be doing for fun? Fitness. What will you be doing for fitness? Faith and finances. What would that look like? So here I love my paper vision board. This is my vision board that I did for 2021, but I just wanted to show you how I broke it down. So I basically broke it into categories where this was finance. So I broke it down into finance. So that's covering one of the F's there, which is finance. So when you do your vision board, focus on your finance. Where do you want that to go? And that isn't just the one goal that you're going to work. This is the big vision. What do I want my finances to look like, right? In 5+ years, what do I want that to look like? What do I want my bank account to look like when I open up my bank app? What numbers do I want to see in there? How many zeros do I want? Because we live in a world right now where anything is possible. There is so much possibility and you can achieve this. And you've got 120 people on this call who all want to thrive and move forward. We are all here to help support you to live in that possibility. So finance, right? Breaking it down into the finance, that's the one section. Then the other section that I have, which is my favorite section, where I think I spend most of my time in, is fun. It's definitely fun. I actually looked at my 2021 goals and I'm like, oh, I definitely feel like I've achieved a lot in my fun section. I definitely have. I love living in fun. So the next time I do this, I'm going to be adding faith in here. So at the moment, I just have fun, but this is where I'm going to add my faith. So we've got finance for 1F, fun and faith. And then this is where I have my family and my fitness. Family is not just my extended family, it's also my partner, it's my relationship with my man. And when I do all of this and I have family and fitness, the biggest thing is, right, these are each area, the biggest thing is what is the massive vision, right? So now we're taking it a step further. Why am I doing all of these visions? For what? Why do I have goals? For what? What am I working towards? It's for that bigger vision. So for me, I put in here, like, I want to own a penthouse in New York. Do I want to own a penthouse in New York? Well, the whole reason I want a penthouse in New York is because I know they're like $15 million, right? It's like, I'm going to work towards that. That's a big vision. Like Gary Vee, he says he wants to buy the Jets. Is it the Jets team or someone, a basketball team? Someone quote me, someone message. And he's like, he's working towards that. Gary Vee's working towards that goal because he knows it's an insane vision. It's massive, right? But you've got to put those big visions on there. You have to. Otherwise, we're thinking too small. So let's think bigger. So when you break it down, go even the step further and go even bigger and think massive. Look at this. I even have a house here, like a massive country farmhouse. And then I have me being best writing author. I have a beautiful penthouse on the Gold Coast, me getting into a jet plane. And then this is what I love the most is that I actually, last year in 2021, achieved two things in my big vision. Two things in my big vision. Woo! I bought my dream car. Woo! So good. It's not gold yet, but it might be. And I also got my dream apartment. But I know if I didn't have these visions and I didn't put it on a vision board, it probably never would have happened. But I had to start somewhere. And if I didn't dream big, then none of this would have happened. So this is the best way that I truly recommend to do your vision board, is to breaking it down into those categories. You don't have to do it on paper like that. You don't have to print out pictures if you don't want. I truly love the pictures because I look at the pictures. Like the other day, I'm not even joking, that farmhouse that I just showed you, my partner sent me a real estate thing. He goes, check out this house. And I clicked on it and I went, you're effing kidding me. I'm not even joking. It wasn't the exact picture of that house, but it looked exactly so similar. It looks so similar. And I went, you are kidding me. I'm like, babe, look at this. And I brought him to the vision board. I'm like, it's that house. He goes, oh my goodness. That house at the moment, by the way, is like for $10 million. So it will stay on that vision, but we know it's out there and it exists. But I'm like, that's why I love the pictures, because when you have the pictures and all of a sudden something happens, you go, oh my God, look at that. Or you can be like Franny. I love Franny's vision board. She draws out her vision, which is super epic. So if you're creative and you like drawing, you can draw. Or you can be like Lloyd and Alicia, where they love to put it on their phone. They also, I've made a new one that's on the back of my phone for this year, because I haven't had time yet to sit down and do the vision board, but this is for this year. And I've done this on the back of my phone. Or you can do that and you can put pictures on the back of your phone as well. That's a quicker, easier way to do it. But I would say spend more time getting the pictures, cutting them out, because it's something special about when you have that time with yourself to sit there with your board and start to really map it out with your goals and be true to where you want to go. And ask yourself the question, if time and money was no issue, what would I be doing with my life?
Whoa, awesome. Woo.
How
What a
good
great
was
question.
that? You are like the vision board queen, and we couldn't have had a goal setting workshop without you, Mel. Thank you so much for sharing. We'd love for you all to share in the chat. What was your number one takeaway? What was that one thing that stuck out to you when you heard Mel's piece? Would love to know. Pop it in the chat. And you know, the best thing about vision boards too is, like, we've heard a lot of people say, I want to do it for my family, or I want to do it with my, for my kids. So when you're doing your vision board, why not include your kids? Why not include your family and have them be part of the full-time vision as well? So
look at the McKays. They got their kids there.
yeah,
I see
love
you, McKays.
I love that. That is so good, having the kids involved. It's all about a better life for everyone. So we've got so many takeaways. Mel, have a read of them. That's so cool. And it was just an epic way to launch tonight's goal setting workshop.
Amazing. Awesome. Love all the takeaways in there. Don't be scared. Yeah. Look, you can see it's real, right? Mel never used to do that. She was in a 9-to-5 counseling job on $900 a week, like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Now look, I mean, anything's possible, right? If you live in possibility. So thanks, Mel. Amazing piece. And now, who's curious to know how to get in the best shape ever?
Mhm.
Anyone? Who would love to hear from someone who knows a thing or two about being in the best shape ever? Because everybody knows that the better you are physically, the better you are mentally, you are in a better state and you can achieve more, right? It's hard to build a 7-figure bank account with a 5-figure body, let me tell you, right? So I'd love to introduce, I'd love to introduce our next speaker. She is she's a two-time world pro fitness model, right? Which is insane. Like she's a world pro at fitness model, which is incredible.
She didn't do it once, she did it
twice, which is amazing. Takes such great discipline. But also she's helped hundreds and hundreds, or probably thousands of people now to also get in the best shape of their life following a simple program that she follows. So she's actually a PE teacher by trade, but she's also building her own online business around the fitness industry. And who better to talk to us about getting in the best shape ever than a world pro fitness model, Katrina Wood.
Welcome, Katrina, and check out all the medals in the background. I feel like we have royalty in the house tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It is such a pleasure to be here. And I had to show this because this is part of my story. And I guess I want to start by saying, and you guys touched on it at the start, when we have goals, we often go to the SMART goals. They're specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relevant, and they're time bound. I used to do that and never achieved the goals I set. And I was thinking today, why? Why didn't I achieve them? And it was because I was looking at my goals from a outcomes based, not a process based. And that was a big defining moment. And I guess the story for me comes from, and the moment that I realized what was needed that is often overlooked when we're setting SMART goals. And I discovered this when back in 2015, I decided I wanted to get stronger for my pole dancing. I was a pole dancer. That was what my dreams were. I had it wasn't even on my radar to do bodybuilding at the time. So that was like 6 years ago. And I started a 16-week challenge. And in that 16-week challenge, all I was focusing on was going to the gym and doing one bit better than the day before. And the rest took care of itself. I had to make sure as well, the two other things that I'll talk about with the goal setting, was that, I had the accountability with that. So I had a plan that looked at process and I had accountability for that. So they were the key things that I'd never had before. I had a plan and accountability, and I was looking at what I was doing each gym session and improving on that each session. So that was my first thing. And then I learned and understood vision and, having those things that you could see each day. So I found a photo of a girl that I admired, put her on my lock screen like Mel was talking before, and I had a quote: "Don't get to the end and wish you'd done better." And that was how I stayed focused. I then went through the process of each day, is this going to get me closer or further from what my goal is? And I made decisions based on that alone. So it becomes quite a focus of your day-to-day activities. So it's taking it from what we plan out and what we map on paper into life. And that is the key thing that we miss. So that is one of them, having the accountability and plan. The other tip is the vision and belief. The vision and belief of your future and becoming the person that you want. So if your goal is to lose weight, what would someone that is 20 kilos lighter or 10 kilos lighter, what would they be doing? Would they be choosing this or would they be doing that? And becoming that person. So it becomes your new normal. I rarely fluctuate in my weight because I define myself as someone who is healthy, fit, and a bodybuilder. This is how I am. And my day-to-day choices reflect that. So it's now become a habit, and it's a habit because of how I see myself. Now, I just want to leave you with this one last vision that I had that made a massive difference. Back in 2017, I had been a runner-up for my pro card 5 times. 5 times, and I was almost ready to quit. And then I thought, you know what? My next competition's in Bali. I'm going to go and compete there. It's a great excuse for a holiday. In the lead up to that competition, I kept joking around, telling people, I'm going to have to travel around Bali with a sword in my bag. How's that going to work? Because that was the prize. The prize was going to be, when I win my pro card, it's a sword. And that was my biggest joke at the time. I was also joking to a friend, you're the one that's going to put a gold medal on. You'll be handing a gold medal to me, won't you? And we laughed about it. She did. She handed me a gold medal. It was the last event of that particular day when she was presenting medals that she presented it. You speak as if you've got it. The next thing in my Bali trip, I'll go back to that. On the plane flight over there, I watched Wonder Woman. Of all, I just randomly chose it. And the prize possession, I'm getting goosebumps telling this story, was a sword. Everything that I was doing was leading to that, my belief, my vision, my thinking, my acting as if I had achieved it. I didn't win just one freaking sword, I won 2. It blew my mind. And it was then that I realized how powerful speaking as if you've succeeded is. You cannot overlook that. You've got to believe it. You've got to have that full belief. That is what's going to take you to your goals and fully succeed in them. I've used this method multiple times in my online business and in other areas. But I guess you're probably thinking, well, that's great. What can I do? Well, the first step is getting accountability and working with someone. Now, we are very fortunate, well, I'm very fortunate to be providing on the 1st of February, a 30-day program that will help you get the skills, get all of these. I will help you set this up. And on the 1st of February, did I say November? I hope not. 1st of February, we will do this together. You will have that accountability. You'll have the support and the guidance that you'll need. You'll have a plan so that you know when you wake up in the morning, what's going to happen through the day. You're not trying to figure it out. It's there for 30 days to get you into the momentum, get you into the routine, and get you into the habits, because that's what will set you up beyond it. When you get to the end of the 30 days, back it up for another 30 days till you've built the habit. Now, I know what this accountability is like, because during this year, I found myself in a really dark place. And people always go, but you're the fitness person. I know, but I'm human. And so I turned to a group of 10,000 people, an online group, to become accountable. And I wanted to make sure by the end of that day, I did what I said I was going to do. And if I felt like having an afternoon nap, no, that wasn't going to happen, because the goal was exercise every day. And I built the muscle back up, and now I'm the person that can go and exercise every day. I built myself out of that rut I was in with accountability, with group support, and with a plan. So if that is something that you think would help you, then we can drop the link in below, and definitely it's going to get you started and it's going to start to build in the habits. Otherwise, it's not going to change unless you've got other methods that you know that will help you get there. But honestly, take the action daily. Focus on the things you need to do every day, because they will add up bit by bit by bit. Don't focus so much on whether you're reaching, you know, the 5 kilos by this particular date, or for me, when I was doing my fitness work, it was, I need to be able to get this on the beep test. No, what can I do? What can I measure myself? How can I see that I've made an improvement each day? It's the sum of those improvements that is what will get you there in the end. So I hope that has been of value. That is all from me. And yeah, I'd love to see you join our challenge because it's so much fun.
Amazing. Woo! Love that. Great.
Speak as if you have it already. Accountability, massive. So many takeaways, Katrina.
You can see your swords in the background there. Who doesn't want a sword? What an amazing thing to win.
We've actually,
I don't have a sword.
We've actually touched the sword before.
We have to. We've flown to Katrina's
We
and
have
hang out
the
and touch the
privilege to
sword.
touch the sword.
But you know what? We've seen Katrina do this, speak as though she's done it. We've seen her do that in her business. We've seen her do obviously with her comps. And, you know, she is human, but she just falls back to the discipline that she's developed, that because you can see that she learned how to win. It's a formula. She got used to it. She now knows how to do it, and she can apply it to anything. So you might think that a goal like hers or a health goal might not mean that much, but when you lose 10 kilos, you feel like you can start winning in different areas. And you can see that formula she's got, it applies to many parts of her life. So,
and how you do one thing is how you do everything, right?
Yep.
So how you treat writing out your goals and your vision board is how you'll treat other things in life. So how Katrina treats her health in terms of discipline, it's overflowing in all areas of her life. So thank you so much for sharing, Katrina. Would love to know in the chat, what was your biggest takeaway? What did you learn from Katrina's piece? Would love to know in the chat.
and if you want to get your health in order, we just dropped the link in the chat there. You can click on that link and go through that and follow the same program that Katrina does, and get your health in order, right? If that's one of your goals.
Talking like a winner. Love
Yes.
it.
Talk like a winner and be a winner. All right. So amazing stuff. Thanks, Katrina. Now, we love to bring on, who wants to make more money in 2022? Like 3 of you.
Does,
3, 4?
T-shirt,
Go on.
Sam.
You guys said you played 100%. What's this? Oh, you're already falling asleep.
Oh.
Come on. Who's excited about becoming rich? Anyone? Great. Hey, because to do all those things Mel mentioned in her vision, right, has taken money. So, hey, money is important, right? So we want to introduce now our next trainer. This man is, he's a financial coach, and he actually is an engineer by profession, and he left his engineering job, right? Imagine that, great engineering job, right? Great job. And he left only a couple of years ago to pursue his online coaching. And that's a really daunting thing to do if you have never left your job before, right? And during COVID, that was a ballsy move. But he's had tremendous success as a financial coach. And only this week, he was featured in Yahoo Finance as that. And he's been able to build a massive share portfolio and achieve great financial, multiple income streams, and obviously helped a lot of people create better financial outcomes in their life. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome now Daniel Marshall.
Woo! Welcome.
Hey, thanks, Lloyd and Leisha, and good day, everyone. Thanks for the awesome introduction. Really, truly appreciate it. Honored to be here in front of you all here tonight. And guys, we've been rocking out for like 50 minutes. So let's just keep the energy going. Let's keep leaning in, keep engaging, and keep showing up. Because if you can keep showing up in these later stages of seminars, then you're going to get all the gold and all the juice as well. So just keep leaning in. So first off, can we please give Katrina another big round of applause for her epic talk on her health goals? Absolute superstar. Look at all the medals behind her. It's sensational. I love that. Such a good backdrop. So what I want to be sharing with you all, because I'm the money guy, the money man, one of my mates calls me, the money man, is all about how to set yourself some financial goals in 2022 and what you might need to consider as well. Now, why is this important? Well, a couple of things. First of all, if I look to, I've got a vision board here as well, Mel, so I'm just looking at it right here. And this quote changed my life when I read it like a few years ago. And it's by Jim Rohn, who's like one of the OGs of personal development. And he said, to have more than you've got to become more than you are. So to have more than you've got to become more than you are. And when I first read this, I was like, damn, that's the juice, that's the gold right there. So if you want to have those financial goals, if you want to have those health goals, that dream house, that big holiday, you've got to become more than you are. You've got to become someone who can have that. And then you've got to do some things to get there as well. So it's all about the becoming. That's what goal setting is all about. And I'll put it in the chat box a little bit earlier as well. There was a study done in America at some stage, and it was the 1% of people who sit down, write their goals and review them regularly earn 9 times more over their lifetimes than those who don't set their goals. 9 times more. Now, like, hands up if you've ever felt a bit resistant about goal setting. Like that's where I've been before. There's a few hands going up. Yeah, that was me. But when I read that stat and that study in the Success Principles by Jack Canfield, I was like, okay, I can't have my head buried in the sand anymore. I've got to learn about this. Yeah, I love that. And I'd just love to know, like, hands up if you've already set yourself some financial goals for 2022. Hands up. So Fiona has, and Franny, Mel, lots of hands going up. Perfect. So whether you've got some now or you're still kind of working on them, that's totally cool. You're going to be well looked after in this short little segment that we're doing here. Now, what I want to share with you all is something which I learned from Bob Proctor, who some of you may be aware of. He's an absolute gun on prosperity and wealth and abundance and creating more income streams. And he talks about different types of goals that we can set. And he talks about A-type goals, B-type goals, and C-type goals. Now, I had never heard of this before. He kind of talked about this. Now, A-type goals are goals that you already know how to do. So you already know how to do them. Then you have B-type goals where you've got a bit of an idea how to do them. And if things kind of fell into the right place, you feel like you could achieve them. And then you have C-type goals. And these are the most important ones. And C-type goals are where you have no idea how you're going to achieve them. No idea at all. But it's what you really want. And that's the most important thing. It's what you really want. Because the prerequisite for your goals should only be, do you really want it? So you've really got to ask yourself that question with all these different areas, all these different F's that we've been talking about. What do I really want? That's one of the first questions you should be asking yourself. Because you can have anything that you want. You actually can. But most of the time, we just set ourselves A and B type goals where we already know that we can achieve it, or that we know that we can kind of get it. But that's not where the magic is. The magic is in these big C type goals where we have no idea how it's going to happen. But all that matters is that we have a burning desire to achieve it, a burning desire. And when we can build that vision in our minds, put it on our vision boards like Mel was sharing before, affirm it like Kat was saying, and really be emotionally involved with your goal and what you want as well, then the right resources and the right people will come into your life when you need it. So go after what you truly want. Don't settle for mediocrity. Don't settle for less than your worth. Because I see this all the time with financial goals, people setting A and B type goals. This is how it usually goes. So they set, like, maybe they can save $5,000, $10,000 a year. So they're like, okay, so I'm going to set a goal to save $5,000 this year, or to invest $5,000 this year. But that's based on what you're already currently earning. That's an A or a B type goal. But the whole purpose of goal setting is for growth. It's not about getting things. That's just a byproduct. Goal setting is for growth. It's for becoming more than you are. It's about who you must become in the process of achieving your goals. Yeah, Mel, so goal setting is for growth setting. Thumbs up if this is starting to make sense. Like, goal setting is really about growth. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about. So when you're thinking about this, maybe you can save yourself $5,000 with what you're currently earning, but why don't you set yourself $50,000 this year? I want to save and invest $50,000 this year. I have no idea how I'm going to do it, but this is what I want. This is what it's going to mean to me. And this is why it's important. So rather than playing a small game, playing it safe, setting A or B, set yourself that C-type goal. What do you truly want, and why does that matter to you? And put it on your vision board and affirm it to yourself. And also Bob talks about, he says, like, when you're saying your goals, say, I am so happy and grateful, now that. So in the present tense, I'm so happy and grateful, now that. So that's just a few little things on A, B, and C type goals. So set yourself at least one big C-type goal for your money. And that could be a 12-month goal, maybe a 3-year or 5-year vision. All right. So let's get into the next bit. So first of all, C-type goals. Now the next bit is like, what type of financial goals do you want to set? So there's a few I just really want to share with you all. And this is what I do myself, what I help other people with as well. And the first one is to have a goal around your net worth. So Lloyd spoke about this at the start as well. And your net worth is simply your assets minus your liabilities. So what you own minus what you owe. And if you don't know what net worth is just yet, that's totally cool. Hop on Google and just search it out. It's really, really easy to work out. So work out where you are right now at the start of 2022 and where do you want to be? So maybe your net worth is $100,000 right now. So, okay, well, I want to get to $200,000 by the end of 2022. So that's your net worth one. That's a really good one to have. The second one, which is really, really important, is how much do you want to invest in 2022? How much do you want to invest? And there's probably two things you can really invest in. And the first one is in yourself, which is the most important asset. Because you could lose your house, your car, your money, everything, but you can never lose who you've become and the skills that you've developed. So that could be through coaches, mentoring, online programs, skill acquisition. There's so many ways you can invest in yourself. So how much do you want to invest in yourself in 2022? And then secondly, when it comes to investments, is you want to invest in assets, things that are going to pay you passive income and grow in value over time. So property, shares, crypto for some of the young people as well. So you want to be investing in things which can give you passive income, because hands up if financial freedom and wealth creation is a goal for you, like that's something you want to achieve. Yeah, rock on, I'm digging it. So you've simply got to invest in assets then if you want to do that. So how much do you want to invest in 2022? And remember, stretch yourselves. Stretch yourselves, have those C-type goals. And then lastly, the third one, there's lots that we can do, but the third important one is around your income. How much income do you want to make in 2022? Or, in your 3 or 5 year plan? And it could be worked out on a monthly basis, like I want to earn 10K per month or 30K per month or 50K per month or 100K per month, whatever it is. And those numbers might boggle some of you at first. It definitely did for me as well. But once you start hanging around other people that are actually doing that, then you realize what's possible and you believe that you can do it too. So how much do you want to earn in your income this year? And the thing is, sometimes when we're an employee, we can be capped at a certain level, but don't let that stop you. Don't let that stop you. If you're earning 100K as an employee at the moment or 50K and you want to earn 200K, don't worry about the how. Just let go of that for now. Claim what you want, go after it with the burning desire and why it's important to you, and you can make it happen. The steps, the resources, the people will come into your life when you need it. So that's the third one about the income. Because the income is the one that really accelerates your growth towards financial freedom and wealth creation. Once you start investing, you simply need more money to pump into your assets and to pump back into yourself as well. So that's the main things I wanted to cover. So your C-type goals, have that big goal. What do you truly want? Write that down. What do I truly want? And then net worth goal, investment goal, and an income goal for 2022. Now, if you're loving the sound of this and you want to earn more money in 2022, you want to build financial freedom, you want to create wealth, and you need some help, then we run a free money masterclass, which is kicking off in a couple of weeks' time as well. And I reckon Lloyd's going to drop the link in the chat box as well down below. And what I learned in this money masterclass last year, it helped me build a second income stream and earn another $25,000 on top of my coaching income as well, a residual type income. And that was from going to this money masterclass as well. So I highly recommend it. And I've got the privilege and honor of hosting it once a month as well with some of these amazing people here. So I hope you got some value from this session about the financial goals. Go out there, claim what you want, and get after it because you are worth it. Thanks, guys.
Oh,
Wow.
C-type goals, my
Marshy.
goodness.
I love how you said goals
Wow.
aren't about getting things, it's about growth
Growth.
and becoming a better person. That was so spot on and
Wow.
been one of my biggest takeaways
Wow,
tonight.
wow,
so
wow.
thank you so much.
Who
for
loved
sharing.
the ABC?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Who's going to set some C-type goals now? Who's a bit scared? Yeah, right. Hey, there's plenty of money out there.
Mhm.
Lots, actually. Probably too much, actually, at the moment. But why can't it be yours? Right? Why can't you have $50,000 months? Why can't you? Why Well, can't you have an extra 100,000 a year on top of what you're making? Right? You're all on here, right? You guys are staying to the end. You've got what it takes. If you can finish this, you got some level of ability to finish things, which means you can do it. Right? So, hey, thanks, Marshy. Amazing training.
Let us know in the chat too. What was your biggest takeaway?
What was your biggest takeaway to that
I know
piece?
a lot of you were sharing throughout the piece. C-type goals, C goals. Yeah, Leah.
Yeah.
C, Michelle. Nice.
ABC is great. I'm just going to I popped it a couple of times in there, but that's the Money Masterclass that Dan's talking about. If you want to register for our next one, it kicks off on the 18th of January, actually in 2 weeks. So if you want to jump in there, you can register and jump into that, which is a lot of fun. And wow, that's really cool. Well, it brings us to the next part of the interactive workshop. And part of having interaction in a workshop means that we don't do all of the training and talking. You guys get to talk to each other. So what we're actually going to do now, who here had a goal to have at the very beginning when we asked, what do you want to get out of this? Who put down growth? Anyone put down personal growth? 3 of you? 4? I'm sure there was more than that. Who wants to build more confidence in 2022? Anyone? Yeah, it's a big one, right? Well, here's your chance, right? Early in January 4th at 8:30 at night, we're going to help you build some confidence, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a 5-minute breakout. We're going to put you into little rooms of 5. You're going to meet some new people, all right? People you don't know. And you're just going to go and share with each other what your biggest takeaway has been so far from this workshop. That's all you're going to do, all right? And once you do that, then we're going to bring you back into the room and we're going to finish with our next couple of speakers. And we've got an amazing fun task for you guys to do at the end that's going to blow you away. So enjoy your breakouts. We're just going to build it now. You'll be put into the rooms into 5 people and we'll bring you back very shortly. But enjoy, share with each other what you got out of it, and we'll see you very shortly. We'll just take a little bit of time to put the rooms up. We've got a fair few people on. And enjoy your first breakout. All right, welcome back. Who met someone new? Who met someone new? Yeah, who met a new friend? Wayne Smith. I don't know what your wife's name is, Mrs. Smith. What did so what did, let's just pop in the chat. What are some of the things you just got out of that little breakout session? Did you enjoy it? Yeah, everyone in my room. Was it fun? Yes, great fun. 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 Who's a little bit nervous about that when they went in, like, oh, I have to meet some people. Any introverts on the call? Any fellow introverts like Alicia on the air? Everyone's like, yeah, it's good. Hey, it's good, Wayne, when you're an introvert and you got a friend with you all the time there, and your wife is an introvert. I think it's really funny that Alicia says that every introvert must adopt or should adopt an extrovert. So there you go. But hey, we lost a few people. Sometimes that happens with the breakouts because people are a little bit nervous about meeting new people. But I got to say, if you really want to create success in your life, meeting people is one of the greatest success moves ever. If you can't meet people and small talk, I'll put it pretty bluntly, you'll never be successful financially or other. Like, you really won't be. It's such a critical skill set, and we all learned it in kindergarten. Incidentally, I don't know where we forgot how to do it, but connecting with people is a really important skill. So we just wanted to encourage you guys to step out of your comfort zone a bit on this workshop and do that. So for you guys who are still here, well done on sticking to the end. You can do it. All right. So gives us great pleasure to introduce our next trainer. Our next trainer is actually a duo. They're doing this together. And by the way, before I continue, some of these trainers they've done training, but this is the largest online event a lot of them have trained at. So you can see that for them, it's a bit nerve-wracking as well because they're growing, right? So it's like what happened to you guys just then in the breakouts. If you're a bit nervous, that's happening to them at a higher level. So it continues to happen as you go up the levels. So nervousness is good because it means you're growing. So some of the trainees here, they're just doing such a great job, especially because it's their first time on such a bit, with a big audience. Who'd be scared talking to training 100 people live? Really? Yeah, right? So just wanted to say that. Congratulations to all the speakers stepping out of their comfort zone. So now, gives me great pleasure to introduce our next speakers. These two weapons of mass construction are actually both dominant personality types, both have a zest for life. You can spot them on a Zoom, especially Franny. I don't know if you've seen her just cruising around there on Zoom, but she just like sticks out. But these two ladies are mums. One of them's a new mum about to become a second child mum. Another one has 2 children about to become a third child mum. And so they have to have a lot of energy to run around and do this, but they're both building an online business. They both had tremendous careers at owning a business. One's a nurse and has a nursing degree, and both have been able to create massive success in their life for their family, financially, and had a lot of fun while being busy mums. So if you felt like, hang on a second, I haven't heard from any mums yet. I'm a mum. When are we going to see the mums? Well, they're coming in a dynamic duo. So buckle up for this section. I'm going to hand you over to the amazing Rose and Franny.
Woo! Welcome, ladies.
Woo! What an introduction. Absolutely love that. It's always an honor to be introduced by 2 people that you absolutely love and respect so much. So this is amazing. And you're going to hear from me first, team, and then I'm going to introduce Rose, who is an absolute weapon, as Lloydie said. So if I can, guys, I'd like to start with a question. Lloydie actually mentioned this at the very start, which I love. But let's have a think about what would be even the point of having phenomenal health and an abundance of wealth if we weren't actually enjoying our life and the people that we're with? What would be the point? And having an extraordinary fun-filled life actually helps us achieve all our other goals. Okay, it makes everything else so much more achievable because we consistently have the number one thing we need to achieve anything, and that's the right state of mind. Okay, so it's why finding our purpose and having fun is just so critical. It's so important. And I'm so honored to talk on this topic. And there are week-long seminars and a gazillion books on this, and I've now got 4.5 minutes left. So I am going to talk like a crazy woman. I'm aware of that. Please stay with me. There'll be times I'll be blunt because this is so super important. But please don't stress. I have everything written down and I will pop it in the chat box at the end of this. So let's crack on. So when we talk about what's my purpose, why am I here, it can be really deep and meaningful, right? We've been asking it for thousands of years. But it's just so simple. Humans, we love to make things really overcomplicated. But here it is. I'll give it to you in a nutshell. You are here. Your purpose and why you exist in this very moment is to be lit up. That's it. It's to find joy and happiness, whatever that is for you, and to do that consistently. And it sounds so simple, right? But most of us don't know. We're living in this fast-paced, crazy world. And you ask majority of people, like, what is it that really lights you up? What's your best day imaginable? Like, oh God, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. So I would love to give 3 little tips for helping you find your purpose. So tip number 1 is letting go of old ideas so that we can be open to new experiences. Have you ever caught yourself saying like, oh no, that's not for me, I don't do that? I think we're all probably guilty of that. And I think a lot of people don't know what lights them up because they're just not doing enough things. So being open to new experiences. And tip number 2 is to be having an abundance mindset. And particularly here, we're talking about goals and we're talking about things that we haven't yet achieved. So it can be easy to forget about all the things that we have and the things that we do have. Remember that 2/3 of the planet live on $2 a day. We always have something to be grateful for. And the 3rd tip is to look at your life and identify the times where you did feel most happiness, most joy. What were you doing? Who are you with? That can be a really great place to start. And it's not selfish filling our cups. In fact, it's selfish not to, right? There's a reason why we put on our own life jackets and oxygen masks first. And no one is a hero for being too busy for themselves. You are not a hero for being too busy. You are simply disorganized. And you'll hear this is brutal, but you'll hear this a lot, you know, from parents. I'm going to pick on us, but no, oh, I'm just really busy. You know, I do everything for my kids. I love my kids. I would die for my kids. Your kids don't need you dead. They need you fulfilled. Brutal, I know. Okay, but imagine living in a world where everyone had full cups, everyone could experience joy, not all the time, life happens, but consistently. What we could do and achieve and strengthening our relationships, it would be immeasurable what we could do together. And of course, this does sort of lead me into the next part of this really quick. I know I'm going crazy, I'll pop it in the chat, but it's strengthening family relationships. And when we talk family, not everyone has kids. You know, so I don't necessarily mean just with children. It might be with parents, or it might even be people that aren't blood related. I personally feel that, you know, we choose our family, and I've certainly chosen all of you guys. And with families, right, there's so many moving parts, there's lots of personalities. And so instead of thinking about family goals, I'd more so like to talk about setting family habits. You know, I wouldn't want any family, you know, to only be happy when they've met X, Y, Z. So it really is about the process, and to, you know, Katrina touched on earlier as well. So a family habit, number 1, is beginning with the end in mind. So how do you want your relationships to feel with people? How do you want them to interact? And you can have a family mission statement. And to me, that sounds like a bit woo-woo, a bit deep, but it's really not. It's just identifying the principles and the values that are important to you guys, to family members. For example, it might be forgiveness, it might be compassion. When life happens, and life is going to happen, it's like providing a roadmap on how you can best, you know, get your way out of it. And for my husband and I, a big thing is adventure and exploring. So that sort of sets the tone of our activities and how we're going to live our life. So second habit is put first things first. And this is quite possibly the most challenging. And by this, it's about that work is not the non-negotiable, that family is actually the non-negotiable. And we can do this by scheduling in family time. And actually, when is it? Is it Monday, Wednesday afternoon, Saturday morning? It can change each week, okay? But actually locking that in. And one-on-one time with your spouse, if you have one, absolutely critical. And the third one would be to schedule in one-on-one time with each individual family member, with each of your children, with each parent individually, having that real quality time. And the third habit that I would like to suggest, and this is very cliche, I get it, but if we get it and we don't actually do it, we don't get it. And that, of course, is communication. And what I mean by that is not necessarily being able to communicate our own needs, which is important, But how well do you know the needs of your family members? Do you know what they need to feel loved, to feel safe? Do you know what lights them up? What do they need to feel loved? Not how necessarily we want to give it, but how do they receive it? No one wants a gift that they don't want to receive. So having that discussion. And of course, the final thing, before I hand it over to this next pocket rocket, but of course, hands up if your family, and perhaps it's you, is a little bit batshit crazy. Like, can I get some honesty? I'm surely not the only one. Erin, I see hands go up. I've got like all my limbs going up here. It can be really easy to look at other relationships, whether that be marriages, partnerships, families, and think that the grass is greener on the other side. Please know that your crazy, weird ass family that you got going on is completely normal. They're all like that. Even the pretty ones from the outside, they're human. They've got life happening to them too. Okay, so that's normal. Please be reassured, because life is tricky. Families are tricky. There's so much happening. And so that's why I'm so proud to introduce this next mama bear. She's dynamite. How she fits everything in is beyond me, but because she has these skills that she's going to teach us next. So I am very pleased to welcome Rose Hour. Come on down, sister.
Hey, legends. How are you all? Oh, Franny, thanks, beautiful girl, for that. Appreciate that. And I really just wanted to touch on what she mentioned about filling up her own cup. And I learned this the very, very hard way. So as Lloyd mentioned before, I've got a 2 and a 3-year-old. I've got 2 boys that are 14 months apart. And if we want to talk about pocket rockets, that's our children. They have so much energy. It is unbelievable. So for me, it was really important that I tried to keep up to them. But what I found is after about 1.5 years, I was completely burnt out because I wasn't filling my cup up. So you don't have to be a mom or a dad, you know, whoever you are, no matter what you're doing, always remember to put yourself first, because you're never going to be able to give yourself, you're not going to be able to give other people the best version of yourself if you're not the best version of yourself. So that was one thing that I really, really learned the hard way. And that obviously then goes into what I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight. And that's time management. So I was 23, I bought my first dancing school, and I was just trying to wear all the hats. I was the dance teacher, I was the admin lady, I was the cleaner cleaning up the studio after the kids, you know, when they left at night. I was scrubbing the toilets, I was buying the toilet paper to put in it, like it was just way too much. So I learned really, really quickly that I had to manage my time, but I also had to do what I was good at and just learn to pay people to do what they were good at. And what I discovered was the more simple my strategy was, the more effective and the better the growth of my business was, because I was able to focus on just one thing. So time management for me, it became very much second nature, because I needed a way and strategies to be able to maximize my time, but also to do things to the best of my ability. So I've got 3 things for you that I really wanted to talk about. So the first thing is creating a sustainable plan. And sustainable is the operative word in that sentence, sustainable. It has to be sustainable, guys. We cannot create a plan that is only going to last a week. So start writing things down, like where do you want to be? What do you want to do? For me, obviously, most of my plans are around my family, my children, and my business. So I have very detailed plans of everything that I want to achieve and want to be able to achieve. So when I say sustainable, do short-term goals. Do like, if you know that you're not good at setting an intentional plan, do like a 7-day plan. That's just simple. And it might just be one thing. It might be, I really want to drink more water. So what are your environmental cues? Do you have 4 water bottles around your house that start getting you into those habits where you're just picking up a water bottle whenever you see it? And then once you master that, go on to the next thing. It might be, I want to get up 10 minutes earlier. 10 minutes might not be much, to some of you, but it might be really hard for some. But do that for a week or two, and then you might make it 12 minutes and then 15 minutes. So always make your plan sustainable. And your environmental cues are really, really important. If you know you've got a bad habit with, say, TV, move the TV out of the room. Don't watch the TV. Get rid of it. If it's not in your environment, then you can't waste your time on it. Your phone, whatever it might be. So that's another one. Delegate where possible. I kind of touched on that in the beginning when I had my business. I really, really struggle to ask for help. But if it's something that you can ask for help, just do it and learn to let go of that control. I had to learn that the very, very, very hardest way possible because I'm a control freak. So yeah, delegate where you can. And one of the other things is prioritizing your tasks. So what is the most, important to you? And, even list them. What are they? What time of the day? How do they look? I always prioritize the tasks that I'm not so good at when I'm the most awake and the most alert. If I'm really good at something, I tend to leave that till at the end of the day where I know even if I'm fatigued, I can still master or, I can still do it. But if I'm learning a new skill or I'm trying to, work something out, I do that like in the beginning of the day, in the morning when I'm fresh, like when I can think the clearest. And the only other thing that I do, and I've started to do this, and this took me quite a long time to work out, how long do I spend on each task? Am I wasting my time doing certain things? Like, is it worth doing that? I don't know. So anyway, these are all little things that I use to be able to create my initial plan. So that's step one. Step two, I write it down before bed. Can you guys relate to this? Do you think about 400 million things at once? And then you completely forget them. And then you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, I'm going to have a really super productive day today. But what do I need to do? Like, everything has gone out of your brain. So I definitely recommend, guys, that you write it down. And again, put as much detail in it that you need to be able to remember it all the very, very next day. Like, it might, I know how crazy it sounds, but for me, when I've got the kids running around, if I actually don't, look, of course, I've written it down. Otherwise, my brain, I'm hopeless. I will not remember it. So write it down before you go to bed. And when you wake up in the morning, you already know what you're about to set out to achieve. So that's definitely my step two. Now my step three, and Franny touched on this before, and it's something I feel, especially when you're a bit of a workaholic. I don't know about you guys. Can you guys relate to this? Who's a bit of a workaholic? Yeah. Family time. It is so important. And like Franny touched on before, you don't have to have children to be part of a family. You could be a mother, you could be the son or the daughter or the cousin or the sister, wherever you are. And if that's what makes you happy, I definitely recommend that, that you guys schedule in that time and really be present in that time, that you are with your the people that you love the most. I think that's part of the hardest thing too. When I wasn't writing everything down, I was just thinking about everything that I needed to do, and I was looking at my kids, but I just wasn't there because I was just thinking about everything that I wanted to kind of do or achieve or whatever. So the more I write everything down, the more it becomes concreted to me and the easier it becomes to kind of get through my day. So that's it from me, guys. The 3 steps. So sustainable plan, write it down before you go to bed so it's all fresh in your mind, and then schedule in that family time. And no particular order. I don't think any of them are more important than the other. I think they're all equally as important. But that's the way that I have definitely learned over the last probably 14 years and how to manage my time the most efficiently. Thanks.
Wow.
What a combo. My
One-
goodness.
One of the best
Wonderful.
time management pieces I've ever heard. So good, Rose. So many epic tips. And Franny, the joy being lit up. That was so, so good. Oh my goodness.
And coming from two dynamite mums there, you know, like hey, you can always live your best life no matter where you're at in your life. You know, some are younger, older, parents, non-parents, whatever it is. But there's strategies, right? From Rose and Franny, we heard some strategies on how to develop better habits and obviously manage your time, because once you learn those simple skills, you will be able to live an incredible life because you won't be too busy all the time, you know. So great. Well done to you, legends. Thank you so much for that. We have our last trainer. Pop in the chat what you got away from that, by the way. I want to see what's in there.
Absolutely. And I hope you're all writing your list tonight of what you're going to action tomorrow, you know, after hearing what Rose said tonight, especially taking away all this value from
Look at this. Fab, write the list.
Delegating.
Yeah, Delegating. Delegating is huge. It's how you actually multiply your time, incidentally. Be present. Okay, be present by actually putting in family time. Be lit up. Great training yours from Dad. Write it down before bed. That was a big one for everyone. Get it out of your mind, then you can sleep. Write the list. Love it. Not too busy. You're not too busy. You were just disorganized. I love that. That was great. You're not too busy, just disorganized. I love when Franny said, parents, they don't need you dead. They need you fulfilled. You know, that was bloody oath. Far out. You know what's really fascinating? Now, I don't have children, but I am a child. But the interesting thing is that parents, that like if you're a parent, do you say to your kids, you can achieve anything you want, right? You say that, you encourage them and pour belief into them like that. Do you do that to yourself? That's fascinating, isn't it? What makes you think they're going to change unless they see you do it first? Now, Franny or Rose, you tell me if this is correct or not, because I'm not a parent. Just nod if yes. Just tell me to go F myself if no. But children will do what you do, not do what you say. Is that right? So there you go. What example are you setting for your kids as to what type of big life do you want to live? You know, there's this story of Sam Walton. Does anyone know who Sam Walton is? He created this little business called Walmart, became the biggest retailer in the world. Anyway, he would take his family wherever he went, on junkets to the supermarkets, opening everything. And now his kids are the wealthiest family in the world. And they have fond memories of being in business with Dad. So it's not about one or the other. It's bring them along for the journey. You know, I've got a friend of mine, he's got 7 children. He takes them everywhere, brings them, gets them to build his office with him, does all sorts of cool stuff, right? Like, so I think it's some good lessons there from Franny and Rose about family and managing your time and so on.
Amazing.
All right.
So we've got one last speaker.
One last trainer.
And then we have an awesome, I guess,
exercise to do together.
Exercise to do at the end.
You're gonna love it.
Make sure you stay to the end.
You're gonna love it.
Alrighty,
It's a lot of fun.
her on.
So stay to the end. We got one trainer left, and we're gonna give you this cool little task to do. We'll do it together on here on the workshop, so we feel like we're workshopping something and not just listening and taking notes, right? So it gives us great pleasure to introduce our final trainer. This particular woman, her second language is English. Everyone go, whoa, I couldn't even do this if English was my first language. She's about to train in front of, just to make her really nervous, she's about to train in front of 102 people live for the first time. And what's great about this particular woman is that she runs 2 businesses from home. And she's been able to run them and make them profitable during COVID, right? And she's a mum. So you talk about spinning plates, being successful, you know, being financially successful and developing time and habits, everything. She's done that, and she's had tremendous success lately in her online business. And I'm really excited for her because this is really outside her comfort zone. So give her a big warm welcome as she grows before your very eyes. Dewi.
Hey guys, hello. Yes, whoa. Look at me growing. Well, thank you all for still being on this call towards the end. I'm very grateful that I can speak on for you all. Yes, my second language is English. So if you don't understand me, you can Google Translate me maybe later, but I think it's going to be fine. Well, guys, first of all, I want to wish you all a happy new year. I hope 2022 will be your best year ever. And yeah, look funny. And in order to become the best version of yourself and to reach all your goals, well, it really comes down to a few habits, you know, to implement habits in your daily life that helps you, you know, become the best version of you, or to help you grow your business, or for in every aspect of your life. Those habits are really, really important. Because your life today is essentially the sum of your habits. I have written down some notes because I don't want to forget anything. So if you really get to think about it, if you are in good shape or you're out of shape, it's a result of your habits. And if you are happy or you're unhappy, that could also be a result of your habits. If you are successful or unsuccessful, that could be also a result of all your habits. And I have to read this one. According to researchers, habits account for about 40% of our behavior on any given day. 40%, that's almost half of what you do. That's incredible, that's amazing. So please let that sink in and realize that although those little habits seem not important, they are so important in everything that you do. So if you set yourself up for a good year, you know, set your goals in place, make a plan, you know, we talked about that before, make a vision board, write everything down, and you start to think, where do you want to be 1 year from now? What do you want to achieve? Where do you want to be with your business or as a person? And then you need to know that you either can make or break your future based on your habits. That's really true. And if you can write down a top 10 list of all the things that you would like to accomplish, and you can, you know, like tick them off if you go through the year. And a few years ago, I decided to do my online business because I needed to get a second stream of income. Like many of you, I hope many of you. How many people of you have a second stream of income? Put your hands up. Yeah, maybe a better question would be, who doesn't have a second stream of income? Oh, why not? We all should. And I really needed to get my habits sorted around that side hustle I started. And why? Because I only have 24 hours in a day, you know, and I'm like Rose and like Franny and like all the moms and all the dads, and I'm very busy. So these habits are very important. So I made 3 categories of habits that, you know, help me to get that side hustle going. That was important to me. So we have outcome-driven habits, we have process-driven habits, and we have identity-based habits. Well, what you need to know is that the type of second income that I looked for, I really looked for a business that already had good systems in place. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. It had to be a company that had good systems and a team, because I can't do this all by myself. I needed a team. I wanted leverage. I wanted to achieve things not on my own, but with a whole team. And I wanted to have good mentorship. That was also important to me, because if you know, do something that you've never done before, somebody has to teach you. So those outcome-driven habits are very relatable to the goals you have. You know, if you have written your goals down, and for example, your company has an incentive, and you really know what to do to achieve that, to, you know, win an incentive, you just get to work. You just write it down. You know what you need to do, and you just run. You know, those are outcome-driven habits. if you have the process-driven habits, those are most relatable to the systems that the company or the team has in place for you in order to be successful. That's why I needed a company that already has those proven systems. And those systems, it also means that all the trainings that are available, please plug into that as many times as you can. You know, you grow like this, you know, you have to attend. I'm shitting myself right now talking to all of you, but I'm doing this because I know I need it for myself and also for my team. I have already a team that is growing with me. So get out of your comfort zone. That's also one of those habits. And last but not least, the identity-based habits. That's one of my favorites, actually. So that's really who you are. And better yet, the characteristics you need to develop to become the person that is worthy of your goal. Yeah. So, and yeah, and in many ways you work in reverse then, you know, so all the things that you have to become. But to wrap it all up, your outcome-driven habits will help you win the game. Your process-driven habits will help you play the game and play it over and over again. Your identity-based habits will make sure that you stay a winner when you already are a winner, which is very important. So I hope this was of value to you, and I want to give it all back to my mentors, Lloyd and Alicia. Thank you so much.
Woo!
Amazing.
Awesome. Well done,
It's
Zoe.
all about growth and habits. You know what I love about Zoe? One of the my favorite things about her is she always says yes.
Yeah.
Whenever we ask her to do something, she says yes, even though she's nervous, even though she doesn't know whether she can do it. But having mentors, we see belief in her, and we know that she's capable of it. So thank you so much for sharing. That was so good. Would love to know in the chat, what was your biggest takeaway? Are you more aware of your habits now?
Who feels more empowered that they could probably train or do something like this out of their comfort zone after listening to Deli? Who is inspired by her? Truly. Yeah, is inspired by her, right? You saw actual growth happen. Hey, listen, by the way, when you're going and attacking your goals, whether it be in your workplace, whether it be with your family or your health, frankly, you'll only grow when it's uncomfortable. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. So if you're feeling like, oh my God, and basically putting yourself into oh shit moments, that's really what you want to do to grow yourself. So that's an oh shit moment in actual real life. That's what it actually looks like. It's not pretty. It's not always like, wow, she's so sharp. Blah, blah. You saw a great example of someone who's growing their goals right before your very eyes. You know, lucky to see that's what it looks like. So this is what you'll go through. So, well, I hope you go through it because, you know, listening to all the trainers today, they've all been through this. They didn't just create health success, financial success, relationship success, dream board success or family success with being comfortable, right? So that was a great piece by Debbie. Thanks so much, Debbie. All right, we're going to wrap it up here. But before we do that, we have a little bit of workshopping to do. You're going to love this piece here. We're going to actually, in Debbie's piece, she said, where are you going to be in 12 months? Where are you going to be in 12 months? So we've got a little task to do. We're going to throw on some elevator music while you do this task online with us. So you don't skip off. You can see the people skipping. Oh, I've got to do that. Yeah. You finish what you start and you'll win, right? We started this call with 126. We have 95. You can see, and 270 registered, by the way. So you can see straight away, 50% of people don't show up, right? Doesn't really matter about why. Of that, about another 20% don't make it to the end of showing up. And then there's you guys. So how you do one thing's how you do everything. So you might think it's inconsequential to stay to the end of a Zoom, but it's the habit you're forming. If you leave early, you'll leave early on your goals and yourself for the rest of your life. I promise. So the fact you're here means you can do it. There you go. So, hey, you've already moved closer to your goals by sticking around. Very few people can do what you guys just did, by the way. So to wrap this up, here's what we're going to do. There's this website. I'm going to pop it in the chat. You want to
Yeah.
talk about this part?
So the link just went into the chat, and basically, excuse me, when you pull up the website, you get the opportunity now to write a letter to yourself from 12, and that letter will be emailed back to you from the company in 12 months time. So on the 4th of January, 2023, you will receive the email back that you have written. So you get the opportunity now to write this letter to yourself. You know, you can talk in the future, you know, it's January 4th, 2023. I've achieved X, Y, and Z based on the goals that you've learned tonight or that you're going to set, and have fun with it. Dream big. We did it last year, 2020, we did it. And it was so cool to receive the email back because I'd forgotten what I'd written. So have fun with it. Really, the only person that sees it is you as well. So you can really play big. So click on the link. We're going to put up
The link's
some
in the
music.
chat now. So we're going to pull up some music to inspire you. Oh, there we go. Oh,
Can you hear the music?
it's so nice.
Has everyone pulled up the link? Okay. We're going to pop it in the chat as well.
Take your time. It's a workshop now. Stay to the end. Give you guys 5 minutes and we'll come back. Sorry, I muted the music. fade out the music nicely, like what would happen at an event. And there we go. Was that enjoyable? Doing that?
Who did it? Who actually did it?
Great.
Ah,
Wonderful.
awesome.
Wow. Who's a little bit nervous that they have to read that in a year's time? Now they're super accountable. Who's excited that they're going to actually go off and achieve something big this year? Yeah, come on. Who's pumped up? Who's got some fire in their belly for once? 2022, 4th of January, and you are all set up. Who feels like it's the most organized they've ever been when designing their life ever, as of right now? For a new year, I mean. Yeah? Feeling like you know exactly what to do. You got the 5 Fs. Yep. Each part you've taken some amazing takeaways from our speakers, and you've met someone new. Let's just finish with this. Anyone who wants to just pop in the chat there, your biggest number one takeaway you got from your notes.
Yeah. Your biggest, like that. What's the one thing that you will remember this masterclass about this masterclass?
Dream big. Set my
Ooh.
seagull. Habits.
ABC.
Speak as if you've got it. ABC.
Winning is a habit. Abundance mindset. Seagulls. Habits.
Anything is
is
possible. Seagulls. Finish what you start. Yep. There you go. Growth. Time management and habits. Set your goals. Write it down. Great. Woo. There's going to be some amazing lives changed this year because you guys took the time out. It's only 90 minutes of your time, or a little bit longer, but it's not long, but it really does pay a massive amount of dividends to you for the year. You can teach this to anyone as well, this process, but thoughts become things. So think the good ones, right? Thoughts become things. They really do. So you can have everything you want in this life. There's plenty of people out there with less ability, less opportunity that have a lot more because they follow a proven system. So we're really excited for you guys to put your goals up. So here's what we'd encourage you to do. A bit of a call to action. Well done on doing that letter to yourself. I think it's wonderful to read back on that. When we do this next year, we can look back at some of those perhaps. But here's what we'd encourage you to do is a bit of a call to action to see who's really actioning this. And that would be, and Camilla just put it in the chat box there, but it would be to actually physically write out your goals and stick them on the back of your front door or on your mirror of your bathroom and next to your vision board using the vision board tactics that Mel spoke about and putting them next to each other and literally sticking them up and actually then taking a photo of it. And feel free to post it on your Facebook or Instagram and tag us in it if you want, just so we can see how many of you have done that. But that actual activity to physically do that is so simple to do that it's so simple not to do. But I really feel like if you just did that the rest of your 2022 is going to be the best year of your freaking life. It will be very hard not to be because it's the first time you've started to design how you want your life. So there you go. Last bit of call to action there from everyone. You can see Franny getting excited. See, hey, someone who lives a great life, right? All about attitude. So do that. The last call to action, go and write your goals, do your vision board, take from all the trainers, take what they've taught you and go and action it. Because it's only the 4th of January. And as the old saying goes, you can always tell who's going to win the race from how they show up at the start line. You can always tell who's going to win the race on how they show up at the start line. And you've all shown up, right, ready to win this race. All 94 of you legends who stayed to the end. Well done. Hope you've taken massive value from this. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Massive, massive, massive thank you to all the wonderful trainers and speakers who've made this online goal setting workshop the best yet, which is amazing. So we'll do it each year, but get bigger all the time. But thanks everyone for showing up. You're all legends. Love you all. And to all the new faces, well done. Hope to see you on the Money Masterclass or somewhere at one of our next events. And well done to all the speakers. You just did such a great job. So thanks again.
Good. Here's to making 2022 your best year yet.
All right.
Woo! Let's go.
See you guys soon. Bye.